Yep.
That
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You're live.
This is Senate Transportation, and we are resuming our testimony. And we have JFO here with Logan, and he is going through the about the DMV miscellaneous bill.
For the record, Logan Weber with the Joint Fiscal Office. I believe I am discussing S211, which is an act related to the motor vehicle inspections.
Well, you better coordinate with the chair.
Oh, it does say inspections, and I read wrong. I'm corrected.
No worries. Just want to make sure I'm here for the right thing. So yes, you should have a fiscal, or not a fiscal, a preliminary fiscal impact for this bill that I'll walk you through. And then there's a chart that I put together in the hopes that it would help sort of clarify where some of the numbers are coming from. We'll see if I accomplish that. Just joining now, and then I'll put it up on the screen. So, as you all know, this bill proposes to change the required vehicle registration or vehicle inspection from an annual to a biennial process. So instead of every year, every other year. It would also increase the fee collected from an issued inspection sticker from $8 to $16. And the first two paragraphs under that fiscal impact are essentially just saying that there are still some outstanding questions that I'm working with DMV and Ledge Council to sort of clarify, some which might have a fiscal impact. I've noted those below. We can mention those, but this is not a complete analysis of the potential fiscal impacts. But I will share with you sort of what I see as probably the largest impact that we know of right now. So in this third paragraph, well, I guess I'll start with some assumptions. So in trying to estimate the revenue impact from this change, I had to make a number of assumptions, and I worked with DMV in coming up with these. The first major assumption is that currently the bill has an effective date of July 1, 2026. You heard from the DMV and that they feel like they can't get that implemented until January 1, 2027. January 1, 2027. So my estimations take that into account. I also think there is a fiscal reason why it would maybe be prudent to push that out to at least July or January 1, 2027, which I can speak to. This analysis also uses an average of 3-year inspection data ranging from 2023 to 2025 and assumes that all variables remain constant over time, so that what we had over the 3-year average continues. And then additionally, it assumes full compliance with the stated inspection requirements, so people get their inspections when they need to get their inspections, and that inspections happen in an equal monthly distribution. And the chart that I have here kind of breaks that out, and I can speak to sort of why that has to be the case. So the third paragraph there is sort of the fiscal impact. So as a result of these changes, it's estimated that additional revenue of roughly $2 million will be generated in FY27, $900,000 in FY28, and then $300,000 in FY29 and beyond. And I will explain why. So trying to figure out which is the easiest way. I'll read it here and then we can switch to the chart, which might make more sense. So part of the revenue generated in the FY27 and the FY28, and then all of the revenue generated in the FY29 and beyond comes from transit buses, school buses, and heavy trucks, which will not be impacted by the 2-year inspection, but will be required to pay the new $16 fee. So they'll still be getting, as it's currently written, they will still be getting yearly inspections, but they will be paying $16 per inspection instead of $8 as it is now. So that's where some of the revenue is coming from.
I just want to be honest with you. I
say.
have not fully understood that implication, although I do think it is serving a purpose revenue wise in the fiscal note. And I'm not saying one way or the other on my perspective on that. Straight down a little bit.
That was first flagged by the DMV, so I should give them credit for that. But yes, so that is something you may want to discuss, whether that was the intent of the bill or not. So then the remaining revenue generated in 27 is due to the nature of the transition, which I'll walk through from yearly inspections to every other year. So essentially in FY 27, 1/2 of all vehicles inspected will pay the current $8 fee and receive a 1-year inspection, and the other half of vehicles will pay $16 and receive a 2-year inspection. But that has to do with when we're implementing it and making it so that we sort of shift the cost pressures between fiscal years. So essentially what you get from the first year is 1.5 times our yearly revenue, which is roughly $4 million. So this would equal about $6 million in the first year due to that transition period, the gain of about $2 million. And then in FY 28, the increased revenue is due to new vehicle inspections. So vehicles new to Vermont that are not fitting into one of the current sort of cohorts that we have, as well as those previously mentioned buses and trucks. And then before I jump to the charts to sort of walk you all through this, I just want to make note of a couple potential unknown fiscal impacts, but that I'm working with DMV and they are talking with the vendor to sort of get some data on is costs associated with changes to the physical inspection sticker, whether we need to change it in any way, make it stickier or something like that, that could have costs. There was a question of whether we'd have to buy back some of the existing stickers that have been issued to the vendor after the move. I don't know that that will be the case. And then changes to the vendor contract. All these, I think they're speaking with the vendor this week, I heard. So hopefully by next week, we'll be able to hear on some of these things. And then some other ones I just mentioned. I don't know that these will have fiscal impacts. Changes to inspection material or inspection training. That'll be a question for DMV. I don't know that that is the case yet. And then you heard yesterday from some people related to the EPA and the SIP plan. So I have to reach out to them and see if they have any expectation of increased costs related to any changes related to emissions testing or modeling and stuff like that. So those are the ones that I know of now. And then if it'd be helpful, I can sort of quickly walk you through this chart that sort of lays out how the inspections might look when we do this switch.
Go ahead.
And I apologize for arriving late, so perhaps you've already addressed this, but since the way the bill is drafted is July 1st, 2026, how difficult would it be for you to look at that for and instead implementation date based on, I think the DMV said it was like January 20
January
would
1st,
be,
yeah.
or yeah, how difficult would it be for you to?
That's in this assumption. In the second paragraph, he said, because of testimony, he went to.
Yeah, so my analysis assumed that you'd be starting January 1st, but I thought that made sense. And also there is a sort of a fiscal prudence to doing it within the middle of the fiscal year. Obviously that would maybe change in the bill for it to actually take back, but I sort of assumed that at the analysis already.
You know, well done.
So then I'll just jump quickly to what else? Should flip on screen. Right? Give me a second. Apologies.
It's a great. Are you going to a different topic or the same?
No, same topic.
Okay,
I'm going to go to the chart.
Okay.
Hopefully that will. So I put together this chart that you have in front of you in an attempt to sort of explain how this all works out. We'll see how well I did. So up there at the top, these are the 3-year average for inspections, and these are the numbers that I got from the DMV and that Renee presented to you. So I just took the average, and then I sort of rounded so that it is easier numbers because inspections aren't exact type deal. These numbers I think will fluctuate in future years, but for the analysis. So essentially what we have starting in FY 27, at the top there. We'll call it 42,500 inspections every month. Is the estimate. So if this switch happens in January 2027, you'll have 6 months where 42,000 people every month will be getting a 1-year inspection and paying $8. Then you'll have half of vehicles getting a 2-year inspection and paying $16. So if you do that math, it comes out to about 1.5 times our current revenue, which is 4,000 or 4 million. So $6 million. It'd be an increase of 2 million over current. So then you have, after FY27, you'll have approximately half of the Vermont fleet on the 2-year cycle. Starting in FY28, you'll get that other half who will switch on to the 2 years. They'll be paying $16. And then you'll get nothing, but you'll get a smaller portion of would be the buses, transit buses, heavy trucks, and then also new vehicles to Vermont that are coming in these months and needing to register and get inspected. So the estimation for that is around 8,500. This could fluctuate a little bit, but I think this is a good estimate. When you do this math, we get about $900,000 above our current revenue, so 4,900,000.
Oh. Makes sense. Sorry, but what was 2026, I guess? Because so you're saying 6 million is a bump up potentially.
Yeah, so estimated current revenue, 3-year average I did was about $4 million.
Okay.
Or what it should be. Actual revenue is a little different than what, for various reasons that I can get into later. But if you do the rough math, it's about $4 million. If you do all of our vehicles being inspected at $8 for a 1-year inspection. So then in FY29, you sort of have all vehicles on this 2-year cycle. So in the first half of the year, it'll still be those new vehicles and then the buses and trucks, as I mentioned. Then you'll have that first sort of 2-year cohort that their second year will be coming up. So they will get renewals. It equals out to about a $300,000 increase. And then going forward, it's the same with just sort of that shifting pattern. And by having the program start on January 1st, we can sort of separate it out. So half of people are getting a 2-year, and then half there'll be a lesser amount. If you did it at the beginning of fiscal year, you would have a year where it'd just be a very small amount of people getting an inspection. So this way you sort of break it up by fiscal year, which sort of helps lessen the impact.
On your bottom row of each fiscal year, the year inspections. So January 28, 8,500 of the yearly inspections, the trucks and buses, right?
Plus the sort of estimated new vehicles new to Vermont inspections. So these are vehicles that you bought one in Florida and you moved to Vermont and got the
In that
inspection.
8,500.
That's in that 8,500.
So why would the truck and bus be in the yearly inspections every year? Like for January 29, don't they?
So the trucks and buses would still be subject to the 1-year inspection cycle. So they would have to get inspected every year.
Right, so if is their number added into the 36,600?
The trucks and buses, yes.
Okay, so I was just expecting to see them on that bottom line,
Yeah, so I just added them in.
Okay. because that's like helpful.
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So thank you. It'd be good to know the impact specifically on the buses and the school buses and
So that's sort of the revenue that we've gained in FY29 and beyond, that 300,000 delta, that is coming from the trucks and the buses, the big trucks.
right. But to know them individually, or at least to know like
What each one would be.
well, or if it's 30,000 units total roughly.
Yeah.
Then, I could do that math,
Right.
but
I could send you that as well.
yeah, because I'm just saying, especially with transit, maybe not for the school buses, but the state's gonna end up paying that.
It's 1,000 buses, transit buses.
Right, I see that, but then I don't know, yeah, so maybe it's just the extra 16,
Or being.
Per- extra 8
Yeah,
per year,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think, are there other questions? I think at this point. Megan, if you could take us offline.
Okay.